Well, per usual, I will be the voice of dissent from the usual sheep that will tell you the same things over and over, and they all have the same opinions because they're just trying to pat themselves on the back, much like Survivor likes to pat themselves on the back. So, but before we get to the heavier topics, I will start with just production and their weird, shitty decisions. I mean, the editing has spoke for itself this season, so I don't really. Do I need to get into that? Maybe I will. I don't know. But let's start with this stupid ass do or die twist. If anybody could tell me what this truly added to the episode, I would love to know because it added nothing to the game nor nothing to the episode. And I'm tired of both Survivor and Big Brother acting like their twists mean you have to take big risks to get big rewards, or you have to gamble now. Bitch, please, this has nothing to do with gambling. There is no equivalent to any of that. I guess in theory, you could say that Deshaun did take this big risk, but I don't think he intended to be the first one out of the challenge. And if he did, they should have showed that because that would actually be a smart move by Deshaun to have the ability to think that, you know what, I will fuck up this first because I'm not going to win this challenge just so I have that 50-50 shot of being safe in the end. He was safe in the end, but the twist added nothing. And it's not gambling because if you're placing a bet on something, if you're placing a wager, you know what you're getting going into it. So to have this kind of twist this late in the game, which is just a luck twist, it's down to chance. It's essentially like you bet on a football game. You bet the Bills to beat the Chiefs. That's all you did. You just bet on the Bills to beat the Chiefs. But somehow your wager turned into, wow, the Chiefs outscored the Bills in the first quarter. Even though the Bills won the game, you lost the bet. Because that's essentially what this is they add this out of nowhere randomly at final seven, and you have to decide to take this. It makes no sense. It's not gambling. It's just fucking stupid. Now let's get to the conversation that was had at Tribal. And before I get into why I just hate Survivor patting itself on the back, and I hate that the lowest common denominator thinkers are going to fall for it, but let's talk about the conversation that needs to be had. It is a conversation that needs to be had, that the Black players feel in these games like they have to band together because, first of all, white players do band together, or just players that have commonalities always band together. But it also becomes a pressure on these players that they feel like they have to band together. And they were saying that it wasn't a thing where all the Black people had to make the end. That was never really what they were intending to do. They wanted to align with other players. This is similar to how the cookout felt on Big Brother. It kind of expands on that concept that the Black players felt like they had to work together because they've never won Big Brother, because they always go very early in the game. And of course, people are upset, calling it racist because they don't understand, basic thinking skills. But I am glad this episode expanded on that specific conversation, that the Black players feel this necessity to do this or else they go out. And turns out they were right because now they're going to get voted out back to back to back. You can't tell me Danny ain't going home next week based on the edit for the preview. If he doesn't find the whatever idol that's supposedly there, Danny's going next. So yes, I will agree these conversations need to be had and need to be shown, especially since in Survivor Past they don't get into these deeper topics because they didn't want to seem racist, which will bring me to Heather's edit in a soon. I think we may have finally uncovered as to why Heather has had no edit. But before I get there, and I better write that down so I remember, because I be talking shit sometimes and I just be forgetting. But let's get back to why I said this at the beginning with the come on in guys and how Survivor's just patting itself on the back being fake woke. I feel like this is another instance of that because, I guess they've shown some conversations in the last episode as well with Deshaun and Shan's decision making. But they have to put this conversation in this episode to soften the blow that the two Black women were leaving back to back. I thought it was pretty clear in this episode that Deshaun or Leanna were going. So, of course the show is going to, we are trying to expand to a black fan base. I don't know one black person enjoying the season though, but that's neither here nor there. And as if it wasn't bad enough, you're having this important, deep conversation. And Survivor's showing it at this certain point to soften the blow that the two black women are going home back to back. But then they also have this do or die twist that the black man is having to go through in this episode. It's just really, it makes me face palm that the TV productions are so fucking transparent to me that it's just a joke. It's a fucking joke. The twist was a joke in the first place, but then to have it in this episode at the same time this important conversation is going on, and then you have old ass, ignorant ass Heather pretending like, oh, I didn't know you guys were going through that. Oh, Heather doesn't know what black people went through in 2020. And then I think it makes sense more about Heather's not edit now, because the one word Shan called Heather in one of her exit interviews was ignorant. And I think we saw that with some of what she said in this episode. So I think we have finally uncovered why Heather has no edit, because they weren't going to give her any edit if she's just been ignorant a lot or just saying wild shit. Even Sydney said Heather was terrible. Anyway, I guess we could give Survivor credit for trying after 41 fucking seasons, but I ain't gonna pat them on the back. They can continue to pat themselves on the fucking back that it took them 41 seasons to actually edit in these conversations and give us a reason to why there needs to be diversity. Leanna was preaching as well, talking about people that will hate on it, talking straight to Facebook, that that Facebook will hate that there will be diversity. But diversity is needed. These changes to the show are needed. I just have not enjoyed the way they have gone about it to make themselves look better for the way their show has turned out in the past, and their decision making in the past, and even their shitty decision making in this episode. And next episode, we see, for the preview, we see Tweedledee Sean and Tweedledum Danny in the next episode. Oh, we're at the bottom. Well, no shit. Look what you guys helped cause. So Ricard deserves credit for the move he made. Do I think Ricard's going to win this game? I still am doubting it. I think I have a pretty good prediction about how the rest of the season is going to play out. I do think if Danny does not find an idol in the next episode, he's going home. And if Danny does go home, I see Deshaun probably making it far, however, because he does have those betting odds in his favor. And I see a final three of some combination of Deshaun, Erica, Ricard, Xander. Maybe Heather gets in there, doubt it. But maybe she does, because why would you vote out Heather at this point? She's clearly the GOAT to take to the end. But I just don't see how Ricard, Deshaun, or Erica don't win this season. At this point, I just can't wait for this season to end. I have not enjoyed the season even slightly. I think the editing has been atrocious. I think production's decision making has been atrocious. I think there's been way too many twists, and most of them have been terrible. I think that this return has only lost viewers rather than tried to gain new viewers, which was allegedly their plan, to get younger viewers. But the fucking editing has been terrible, and they've had really complicated things that have gone on. It doesn't make any logical sense whatsoever. So yeah, I was thinking already, this is definitely a bottom 20 season. This is not in the top 20 best seasons. And then last week I was thinking, oh, okay, maybe it's actually bottom 15. It's pretty bad. Yeah, this is a bottom 10 season. And frankly, for me, most of the last 10 seasons have been bottom seasons. So I just think really this show has passed me by. It doesn't appeal to me at this point because production sucks. It does. Jeff Probst is a terrible producer. Good host. This year, I don't even know if he's a good host anymore at his age, but he's a terrible producer. And I know I get some reputation for being negative, but I could tell you this, all the soap operas, now that I'm doing soap opera rankings, almost all the soap operas, other than the bottom soap opera, Young and the Restless, I actually look forward to watching. Tomorrow, I am very excited to get to watch the Challenge All-Stars episode 4 because it's very entertaining and it doesn't make me feel annoyed. But this season of Survivor, every fucking Wednesday when I realize it's Wednesday, I'm like, oh, I have to watch Survivor tonight, huh? I have to talk about Survivor tonight, huh? I'm not enjoying it. I highly enjoy doing our rankings, but that's mostly because I enjoy either talking shit with the other people or watching fucking Alex and Aspen and Meg and Fanguy and Mike talk shit to each other. So the rankings have been fun, but it's not fun because of the show. It's fun because of the podcast. But the show itself, I can officially say it's a bottom season for me. Just really dumb twists, really dumb editing, just bad editing. I don't even feel like I still don't know half of the final six. I don't like most of the final six. So, yeah, a Ricard win might get me to say this is a bottom 15 season rather than a bottom 10 season. But outside of a Ricard win, it's a bottom 10 season. Period. Deal with it. You could dislike this video. Nobody can fucking see it. So, yeah. The patting on the back annoyed me. It's annoyed me all season. This show wants to just pretend it's always been this greatly edited show and that it's always been great to its fucking diverse castmates when it hasn't. It's had a lot of problems as of late. Just 2 seasons ago, it had a sexual harassment scandal. So it has a lot of catching up to do, and I don't like the patting of the back. And I ain't gonna give the show credit. All the fucking talking heads that always agree with each other can give the show credit because they want to be able to have interviews with players and they want to suck CBS's dick. Well, sorry, CBS has a lot of work to do. That's why it had to initiate a fucking diversity 50% thing in the first place.